If you're the person everyone comes to when life gets hard, this is going to change how you see that role forever. Because what I'm about to share with you, it's not about being stronger. It's about recognizing the prison that you've built around your own needs. And by the end of this, you'll understand why your greatest strength might be your biggest weakness. And I know this because I've watched the people that I love most carry this weight for years, and I've seen what it costs them. Now, my story was different. I was the performer, always achieving, always entertaining, always trying to earn love through what I could do. But the people closest to me, they were the rocks. They were the ones that everyone leaned on. And here's what I've watched happen to them over and over again. I've seen my wife become the one everyone calls when there's a crisis. I've watched friends become the emotional support system for their entire family. I've seen colleagues who never get a day off because everyone depends on them. And you know what I've noticed? They start to believe that their worth is actually tied to their availability, that their value comes from what they can do for others, not who they are as a person. And the invisible weight of being the reliable one, it's not just about the tasks that you take on. It's about the identity that you build around being needed. And once that identity takes hold, it becomes your prison. So here's the pattern that I see in every person who becomes the rock or the strong one or the reliable one. They burn out faster than everyone else. You know why? Because they're not just managing their own life, they're managing everyone else's emotions, problems, and crises too. I watch people that I care about become the emotional dumping ground for others, the unpaid therapist, the person who just always has the answer, even when on the inside, they're falling apart. And here's what breaks my heart. They think this makes them a good person, noble, selfless, but here's what I actually see it making them: unavailable to their own life. When you're constantly putting out other people's fires, when do you have time to tend to your own garden? When do you deal with your own stuff? When do you get to just be? Recently I was having a conversation with someone very close to me, and this conversation, it opened my eyes to this pattern. They had spent their entire weekend helping the 3 different people with a variety of different crises. And I could see it when I saw them, how they were sullen and their body looked different and their face. I could just see it. And I said, "How are you doing?" And they just looked at me like I asked them a foreign question and said, "I'm fine." See, that's when it hit me. They had been so busy being what everyone else needed them to be, they actually had no idea who they were anymore. They weren't being strong, they were performing strength. And there's a huge difference between the two. So if you're watching this and you're thinking, that sounds familiar, I want you to know something. Performing strength is not the same as being strong. Real strength comes from vulnerability. Real strength includes asking for help. And real strength includes saying no and setting boundaries. From watching the people that I love carry this weight, here's what being everyone else's rock actually costs. First, your own emotional health. You can't process your own stuff because you're too busy processing everyone else's. Second, your relationships. They become one-sided. When you're always the one in helper mode, people stop seeing you as a whole person with your own needs. And third, you lose touch with who you are outside of what you do for others. Your identity becomes so wrapped up in being needed that you don't know who you'd be if you weren't fixing someone else's problem. And fourth, and this is the big one, you teach people that your needs don't matter, that you're always available, that you don't have boundaries. Now, again, my journey was different. I lived in what I call the performer's room or the overachiever's room, always achieving, always entertaining, always performing, always trying to earn love and validation through what I could do, what I could accomplish. But here's what wrecking that room taught me that applies to anybody carrying some sort of invisible weight like this. You can maintain your caring nature without losing yourself in the process. Now, first, I want you to start by asking yourself this question. Is this mine to carry? Before you automatically take on someone else's problem. And second, practice saying, I care about you, but I'm not available to help with this right now. I know it's going to feel terrible at first. Do it anyway. And third, schedule time for your own needs. Put it on the calendar. Tuesday, 7 p.m., deal with my own stuff. And fourth, find your own support system. You need people that you can lean on too. Friends, maybe family, maybe a support group, anybody that can support you when you're going through the struggles of that transition. Because it's not going to be easy, but you need help in getting there. So here's what I want you to understand. There's a difference between being strong and being available. Being available means that you're always on call for everyone else's emergencies. Being strong means that you have the courage to take care of yourself so that you can show up authentically for the people that matter. Being available means you say yes to everything. Being strong means you say no to protect your peace and your capacity. Being available means that you perform strength. Being strong means that you live it. You don't have to carry everyone else's weight to be valuable. You don't have to be the solution to everyone else's problems to be loved. And you don't have to sacrifice yourself to be worthy. If you've been the strong one for so long that you've forgotten who you are underneath that role, I want you to know it is not too late to remember. It's not too late to set boundaries. It's not too late to ask for help. It's not too late to stop performing and start being. Your needs matter. Your voice matters. You matter. Not because of what you do for others, but because of who you are. So if this resonated with you, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. And if you know someone who needs to hear this, someone who's been carrying everyone else's weight, dealing with everyone else's needs but their own, share this with them. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is admit that you're tired of being strong. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.